everybody? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to another edition of Pre-Per-View. My name is John, and yes, today is just me, but that's all right. We got a lot to talk about. So, you know what? Let's just hop right into all the things, okay? I feel like a lot has happened in the world of wrestling, in the world of WWE specifically, since Money in the Bank. And the big one, the elephant in the room, is that fucking Vince McMahon has officially retired amidst the ongoing investigation by the board, and he is retired. He is officially retired. He is no longer part of WWE. He's the majority stockholder, but he's out. You're out, Norman. So yeah, I feel like most people, I feel like at this point have not known, most fans of WWE have not known WWE without Vince McMahon. So I feel like it's really crazy. And just before SummerSlam, I feel like makes it even crazier. Triple H is now the head of creative as well as the executive vice president. And Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan are co-CEO. It's just a lot of shakeup at WWE. And I think ultimately this is good for them. I think this is a necessary change for WWE to move forward. Now, it's going to be gradual. I mean, you're probably not going to see any major differences right away, except for the TV14, which has now been implemented. But even so, not a whole lot has changed as of yet. But either which way. Yeah. So last time since we spoke on Pre-Per-View, Kendra and I went to the July 18th edition of Monday Night Raw in Tampa, Florida. Had a hell of a good time. If you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, please check out our socials as well as our YouTube channel. We kind of documented and made a little video of our trip to Raw. That was a lot of fun. So go ahead, check that out on our YouTube channel and follow us on all the socials right there on the side. Oh, also, before we get into the main card, let's talk about a match that was taken off of the card. Riddle versus Rollins. On Monday Night Raw, we saw Rollins ambush Riddle after the match. He teamed up with the Street Profits and they took on the Bloodline. And after the match, Seth Rollins came out and kind of ambushed him, gave him a couple of stomps, and all of a sudden now he's injured and the match has been postponed. I get they're postponing it. It's a kind of an angle they're doing right now, I'm assuming, to bring that match to Clash at the Castle, Clash of the Titans, whatever the fuck that pay-per-view is called. I'm a little bummed because Seth Rollins and Riddle are some of the, best in-ring performers at WWE, in my humble opinion, of course. So I was really looking forward to seeing them have a big moment to shine. We got to see a short dark match, Riddle and Rollins, when we went to Raw a few weeks ago, and that was really cool. It was like 10 minutes. It wasn't a crazy long match or anything. So it would have been cool to get to see them perform on a bigger stage, at a bigger level. So I'm a little bummed about that, but I'm curious as to what that means for SummerSlam and possibly for Seth Rollins tonight. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. All right. Well, how about this? How about we just kind of go down the card and let's see who we got and let's see what we got. Okay. Let's go ahead and start with, this is in no particular order. I don't know the order of events. I assume Lesnar and Reigns is the main event, but I don't know. So I'll save them for last, and I'll kind of go down the list I have here. Again, I don't know the order of operation in which the card is, but hey, say la vie, right? All right. So first, let's talk about Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. So we are finally getting well, I guess they technically had a match at Money in the Bank, because at Money in the Bank, Liv Morgan, who won the Money in the Bank ladder match, cashed in on Ronda Rousey directly after she beat Natalya in their match. And she went ahead and won her first ever SmackDown Women's Championship. Yay, woo. So now they're having a rematch here at SummerSlam. Right off the bat, I think Liv Morgan. I'm gonna go with my girl Liv. I just think it would be kind of silly, for them to end her reign so quickly when so many people are like, she has a huge fan base, and a lot of people have been wanting to see her as champ. She's been wanting to be champ for a long time, so I feel like taking it away so quickly, I feel like that would be kind of a bad look. But I think it'll be a good match. I think it'll be a pretty decent match. But yeah, I don't see Ronda Rousey taking this. I would be interested in seeing either Ronda or, frankly, Liv go heel. Liv is I feel like it's such a natural baby face. I've always been saying this. I've always been wanting to see Ronda Rousey go in more of a heel direction. Right now, it's a lot of they do this kind of storyline every now and again where it's like mutual respect and, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. Well, whatever. But I kind of want to see Ronda Rousey, this formidable force, as she's, portrayed to be. And she is. I mean, she could kick all of our asses, But I kind of want to see her have a little bit more of a grit, a little more edge to her, and not just be like a badass who's kind to everyone. Again, don't come at me. This is just on a storytelling standpoint. But overall, I think Liv Morgan has this. I think she's gonna have a hell of a match ahead of her. And I'm excited to see what Ronda Rousey does with a more exciting in-ring presence. The last time she had one of those was with Charlotte Flair. And, that's no disrespect to anyone who has been in the ring with Ronda since then. But I feel like a lot of the matches she's had when she was champion were a product of her supposed storyline with Sasha Banks not going through. And there were great moments in that. At least Raquel Rodriguez got to shine a little bit because of that. But I'm excited to see because Liv is very good in the ring. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good match. But I'm taking Liv Morgan on this one. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the Raw Women's Championship. Sorry, I don't have any graphics here like Kendra usually does. Because I'm trash and not as good at the stuff as she is, but whatever. Let's talk about the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. Now, this is a rematch we've seen time and time again, but I like the storyline they've got going on with this one. It was last year's SummerSlam, which is when... sorry, let me go back and start that again. It was last year's SummerSlam that Becky Lynch made her return and beat Bianca Belair for the Women's Championship. I can't recall which one it was. I don't remember. I think it was SmackDown at the time. And she beat Bianca Belair in 26 seconds. And last year's SummerSlam, if y'all remember, y'all could see on the YouTube channel, on our podcast, it's still there. We had a lot of thoughts and feelings about that. And at the time, we were just kind of getting back into wrestling and didn't really know a whole lot of these new faces. So I've heard of Becky Lynch, and I know she was popular. And I mean, the pop she got there was significant. But we felt some kind of way about Bianca losing in 26 seconds. Like, it rubbed me the wrong way. But the way they spun that into this long-term storyline, and just watching Becky Lynch, she's one of my favorites on the mic right now. So I would say she's probably one of my favorite wrestlers right now, just because of how fucking funny she is. But I like the angle that it's, you know, it's coming full circle. It was this pay-per-view last year that Becky bested Bianca. So now coming into this, will she finally get her true redemption, even past WrestleMania? But do I have Bianca winning? Yes, I think Bianca will win. But if their WrestleMania match is anything to go off of, I think this is going to be a great match. They were one of the highlights of this year's WrestleMania, and yeah, I think they work well together, and I think Bianca's gonna have a good lengthy run with this title this time around. But from here, I don't know where Becky goes. I would love to see if Becky doesn't win here. I would love to see if maybe she is the next in line to compete for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I don't know when Charlotte Flair's supposed to return, so maybe that's something they have down the line. But yeah, I don't know. I can't foresee. Although, like, you could, but then you run the risk of just going full circle again. If you had Becky win at SummerSlam, that would be kind of fucking insane. That would be super crazy. And then, you know, you can do the storyline again in which Bianca works her ass off all year to get back to WrestleMania and win again. But, like, how many times are you going to do that? So I would like to see this last time around between these two and then kind of move on for a little bit. But yeah, I think I'm going to stick with my guns here. I think I'm going to go Bianca retains here, and I'm going to kind of call it now. I think Becky's going to move on to the SmackDown. She's going to set her sights on the blue brand. But that's just me. Would love to know what y'all are thinking. All right, moving on. We have another rematch. Most of this card is rematches, which I find kind of interesting. So we've got Bobby Lashley versus Theory. It's a rematch for the United States Championship, and yeah, they just had this match last month at Money in the Bank, where Theory lost his United States Championship to Bobby Lashley, but then won the Money in the Bank ladder match. So tonight was supposed to be like the wild card of the night is Theory, because he is Mr. Money in the Bank. So they've been kind of downplaying the storyline between Theory and Bobby Lashley, because he's also kind of starting shit with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre now. So he's just getting it from all angles right now. But I kind of like that. And I really liked last night where he was kind of getting a little more of a serious edge to him and was like, I'm tired of being everyone's punching bag. I don't think he's winning this match, or if he is, it's after getting like fucked up, because I don't see him cashing in either, but we'll get to that a little bit later. I see Bobby retaining for a little bit longer. Bobby's one of those folks though, like, you never really know who can beat him in a match. Fucking Omos for whatever reason. But I think this is gonna be a good match. I think Theory does not get enough credit in the ring because he is so universally hated as a persona. Although I'm kind of been saying it the last few months on here, I'm coming around to Theory. I kind of like his shtick, and I think now that they can drop the the Vince McMahon protege thing out of necessity, really. Yeah, I like what he's doing, and I think he has a shot at making some big waves here. But I don't think he's winning this match. I don't think he's taking home anything tonight, and I think that's only going to drive him more mad going forward. But I'm also going to say that Lashley's retaining. One true villain. Wow, look who joined the party. Well, now that you're here, I'll tell you I'm about halfway through the card. The first 3 matches I talked about was I've got Liv Morgan beating Ronda Rousey. I've got Bianca Belair beating Becky Lynch. So both our champs retaining. And I also have Bobby Lashley retaining against Theory. So far, I don't think any titles are being switched. That's where I'm at. I was going to get a little more into Theory's prospects of the night when we got to the main event, or what I assume is the main event. But actually, before we move on to the next official match, so we were also talking a little bit about how Riddle and Rollins was pulled from the card. I have a hard time believing that Seth Rollins won't be a part of SummerSlam. One, because I think he deserves to be there. So I'm curious, do you think that there's a chance we could see Seth Rollins in a match tonight? And if so, who do you think we'd see him in a match with? I'm curious if possibly Seth Rollins is in a match with Edge tonight. Now remember, Rollins and Edge had a match last year at SummerSlam, and it was like arguably the match of the night. Possibly, well, I guess they already had like the awards and shit, but to me that was like one of the best matches of last year was Edge and Rollins. And every time they're in a match, they're great together just because they're both fantastic performers. But do you think that Seth Rollins is actually going to be off of the card completely tonight? Yeah, I mean, if nothing, I hope he's there. I hope he has a match. It feels weird to know that it's a SummerSlam without Seth Rollins. The next match we have, again, I don't know the order of the card, but we've got another rematch from Money in the Bank. The Usos versus the Street Profits with special guest referee Jeff Jarrett. JEFFJARRETT. I mean, listen, here's the thing. Every single time these guys have a match on Raw, on SmackDown, they're bangers. Absolute bangers. Their match at Money in the Bank was so fucking good that I'm like, you know what? This is one rematch that I'm like, you know what? Yeah, actually, let's run it back because that was awesome, and I would love to see them do that shit again. I don't know how necessary Jeff Jarrett was in this match, but I liked his bit on SmackDown last night where he took a super kick. I'm like, yeah, this dude, he can still sell, and he's he's still doing this thing. So yeah, I'm excited for this match. I don't know. It's so hard to say when. Like, I feel like there's got to be a big event that Roman Reigns would lose his titles at. I feel like it's a little more feasible for the Usos to lose their titles tonight. Especially if, that super kick cost them a little bit of clout with Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, I don't know if there's a storyline to be had there, but I don't know. I just can't imagine, like, at this point, having the titles for that long, losing the titles. I feel like, well, this is one of the big five, like, pay-per-views. I feel like losing the titles would have to be at something like a WrestleMania. But do you think the titles need to be split apart before Survivor Series? Because that's like the whole thing at Survivor Series is just, is champ versus champ. I don't know. This one's a little more of a toss up. No, you know what? I think the Usos. I'm gonna go with the Usos. I think the Usos will retain. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine them losing their titles yet. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going with. I think I'm going with the Usos retaining. But I have no doubts that this match is going to be awesome. Yeah, it's again they work so well together, and every time they have a match or even an interaction, their promo they did last night was awesome. So the match on Monday Night Raw was awesome. I just can't imagine that it's not going to be another fantastic match, and I'm okay with that, honestly. But I would love to know what y'all thought. So please leave those comments in the chat or comments in the comment section, depending on when and where you're watching this. All right, moving on. That's how you know I'm tired. Yes, we're talking about SummerSlam. Moving on. Logan Paul versus The Miz. So Logan Paul made his WWE in-ring debut at WrestleMania earlier this year. He and The Miz formed a tag team to defeat the Mysterios, which I wasn't very happy about, but I did enjoy seeing Miz turn on him at the end there. And also, what I'm not happy about is the fact that I have to say, based on that match and based on his last few appearances, I think Logan Paul has a knack for this. I think his WrestleMania performance was actually very good. So, yeah, I think this match will be pretty decent, if nothing else. Yeah, I think I love The Miz, to be completely honest. Hope he wins. Yeah, I would like to think that I don't fucking know, honestly, and I don't really care. This match in particular, it's just it's one of those, like, anytime they bring a celebrity in, you never really know. Usually the celebrity will win. So Logan Paul's probably gonna win. I would like for The Miz to win, and if he's gonna be there for pay-per-views and stuff, they could do something with him. They can have a little more of a storyline here where they have, another rematch, make it a trilogy or something. But yeah, no, I think Logan Paul will probably win this one. But I think it'll be an impressive match. Because again, I mean, Logan Paul's still kind of earning his stripes as an in-ring competitor. But I mean, he signed like an official contract, and again, just based off of his WrestleMania in-ring debut, I think he's talented. Pogan Law, did I say that? I didn't say that. I do think he's gonna win though, and I'll be annoyed at. Okay, good. I'll be annoyed that he wins, but that's fine. As long as I get somewhat of a decent match, I'm okay with whoever's in the ring. All right, moving on. A match I'm very excited for. Pat McAfee versus Happy Corbin. Let me first, kudos to Pat. I love whatever new contract he has must include like the occasional in-ring, premium live event match. So it'll be cool to see him pop up at, these big, events like SummerSlam, WrestleMania. He's probably going to end up being in the Royal Rumble. It's just, I love this for him, and he's so funny on commentary. He's so great at it, and he's another one at WrestleMania. He had a match against Theory, and he shined. He had a really, really good outing. I know he's wrestled in NXT, had some crazy matches there. So I'm actually very excited about this one. Happy Corbin's another that his gimmicks are always so buck fucking wild that I think people forget that he's pretty good. He's pretty consistent in the ring. So this is another instance in which I think they're going to make each other look good in this, and it's going to be a fun match, if nothing else. But I think it'll be a banger. I got Pat McAfee. There's no way they're going to have Happy Corbin beat him. I couldn't imagine. I hope Pat enters to Seven Nation Army like he did at WrestleMania. That was really cool. But yeah, I got Pat McAfee all day. Not like Theories all day. Pat's all day. All right. Like I said, I think it's going to be a fun match. All right, moving on. Last and certainly not least, because there's a lot that could happen in this match. For the undisputed WWE Universal Championship in a last man standing match, we've got, for the umpteenth time and supposedly final time, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Let's talk a little bit about the road to this, though, because that's what's even crazier. They were really WWE being they were really setting up. WWE seemed to be setting up a match at SummerSlam between Roman Reigns and Randy Orton, because you had this whole thing with they lost their titles to the Usos, and they were talking all this hot shit, and Riddle was challenging Roman Reigns, and I think it was supposed to, once Riddle lost, Randy would take him on at SummerSlam, blah blah blah. However the story goes, then Randy Orton got a very real injury. So, I mean, the only thing that I guess made the most sense that they could justifiably do with only several weeks to prep for it was for Vince to get on the phone and call his favorite cowboy back one more time. So that's how I think that's how we got Brock Lesnar back in this match. I really appreciate that they're promoting it as a last man standing and the last time these two will compete for this title against one another. Just because I think on a business standpoint, I think this is the smartest thing they could do. But, as a fan, you're like, oh man, like we just had like almost a whole year of this shit. Like we really want to see it again. It'll probably be, 15, 20 minute match. And even those matches between these two are always, pretty solid. No complaints. And at least it's a last man standing match, so like they're gonna have to fuck each other up, I see Reigns retaining, but the real question here is, will we actually get this match? I think yes, but I mean there was a bit of a scare after Vince retired, where Brock supposedly walked out on SmackDown, and they didn't mention it, and he popped in at the very end. So either they purposely leaked wrong information just to get a ratings boost, and for to see if Brock would actually show up or not, or to see who would be the new challenger, or they offered that man a whole other stack, because like I can only imagine the leverage he had on whether or not he would perform based on how much they would be willing to pay him. So but because of the whole Vince thing, I think I wouldn't be surprised if this was one of the last appearances we had from Brock, at least for a while. I don't know. It's hard to say. But I do think Reigns is retaining. Now, the real question is, will Theory cash in tonight? Personally, I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's cashing in. I think he's going to have a hell of a time with Lashley, and he might get injured, kind of like how Riddle got injured on Monday Night Raw. Now, if he actually did get injured, I'm sorry for making light of that. But I think he'll be out by that match, or maybe he plans on cashing in, and like the Usos or some like whatever interfere with that, and they don't give him the chance, or he cashes in and still loses, which that would be a crazy storyline for Theory to cash, to not win the United States Championship and lose his Money in the Bank cash in. I think that would be nuts. But I think if they're going to continue with his push, which they probably will, and I'm okay if they do, that's going to have to, he's in for the long haul at that point. And I think at that point you can probably have more folks learn to like him as a persona. But I don't think he's cashing in. Or like I said, I don't think Theory's going home with any gold tonight. He has more of a chance of going home with the United States Championship, but I don't think he's going home with the gold. But that's just me. What do y'all think? And at least if Reigns wins tonight, we'll get a match everyone's been wanting to see for a long time. Well, a rematch everyone's been wanting to see for a long time. Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle. Whatever. I never remember the fucking title of that pay-per-view. That would be cool. And I don't know, Drew, I feel like may have a real chance. Yeah, I don't think. I think Reigns is going home, and also it would be a shocker to me if they had him lose his title. Hey, I appreciate you. On the 700th day, I think that'd be insane. But yeah, I think that's gonna be an awesome match if it's Reigns and McIntyre. I mean, really, if it was McIntyre and Lesnar, that'd be awesome too. But yeah, I'm super stoked to see a potential Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre feud. But yeah, it would be interesting to see if Theory held on to that Money in the Bank contract for a good long time. Because I feel like with someone who's getting the kind of push he's getting, holding on to it and kind of keeping everyone on their toes and really staying relevant to the main event, to the championships all year round, that's a really great way to stay in the picture, stay in the ocean of the island of relevancy, as they say. But yeah, I mean, I think this will be a good match, though. It's going to be shorter than everyone wants it to be, because if history says anything. Or maybe not. I mean, maybe because this is one of the last matches between them, at least for this title, maybe they will put on like a 30-minute match, which would be awesome. I mean, their WrestleMania match was good too, but even that was fifth. I think it had to have been 15 minutes. 15 with entrances. Yeah, I mean, they both take their time, especially Roman. He will make a meal out of nothing. But that's why he's a champ, yo, I just love everyone last night on SmackDown, fucking Theory getting his ass handed to him with the briefcase again by Brock Lesnar, and then getting fucking kicked in the face by Drew McIntyre. Yo, the fucking Donnybrook match last night at SmackDown, McIntyre and Sheamus. Woo, that was awesome. Like that was a really good fucking match. Yeah, I was kind of surprised how good that match was. Anywho, as we kind of head into the tail end of this particular stream, yeah, those are my predictions. I'll run them down one last time. Let me find my little thing here. All right, so in no particular order, I think Liv Morgan's retaining. I think Bianca Belair's retaining. I think Lashley's retaining. Although, I don't know, the more I think about it, no, I think he's retaining. I don't think Theory's winning back that title anytime soon. I think the Usos are retaining, but having a banger-ass match. I think Logan Paul is going to beat The Miz. I think Pat McAfee is going to beat Happy Corbin. And then I think Roman Reigns will retain as well, with a potential to also beat Theory. Now, how about this? Let's just sprinkle a little what if in here before we finish off. Now, what if Theory cashes in on Roman Reigns and wins? What if Theory cashes in on Roman Reigns and wins? I don't think this will happen, but let's just talk about it. Would that then allow for Roman Reigns to dip out for a while and then come back just in time for WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood? What do we think? I don't think that's going to happen, but I mean, on this eventual, ever-long run on this road to WrestleMania, the question is always going to be, until it's definitively not, the question is going to be, tinfoil hat on, yeah, exactly. The question's always going to be, if and when will we see Roman Reigns versus The Rock? Will we ever see that match? I think we will. I hope we will. I want to. But anyway, that would be fucking crazy if, like, what if the complete opposite happens? There's a timeline in the grand scheme of the multiverse where Theory wins the United States Championship and the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. That would be fucking nuts. But I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, those are all my actual predictions for the tonight's Premium Live Event. I will be watching, just because it's me and the cats here. Doesn't mean I'm going to break tradition. I'm going to, order myself some chicken wings, and I will go ahead and watch that. May even live tweet it, although I feel some kind of way because I do feel bad for, like, the people. Well, when I was a kid, you had to, order the pay-per-view and blah, 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 blah. Otherwise, you just kind of watch Monday Night Raw on Monday and find out the results then. When does it start? I believe it starts at 8 with probably the pre-show starting at the kickoff starting at 7 on Peacock. So that's when I will be checking that out. Might live tweet it. We'll see. So if you're not already following, You can check us out on Twitter at Perez Periódico. But anyway, that wraps it up here for me on pre-preview. Thank y'all for joining in. All right, well, I am going to go ahead and go get set up, and I will talk to y'all a little bit later. All right, peace out, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, feel free to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch. All right, see you next time.